Yeah, I think you do it. I just sound
Wow, it's quite. I'm Asher Patel, I'm club president for the Rotary Club of Rochester. Thank you to all of you for attending. We will start with a pause. Remembering that this is time for fellowship, enjoying our values as Rotarians, and looking forward to sharing and learning together with you. I'll take a moment to do my pulmonary thing, and I hope you can join me. So just, yeah, relax for the next hour or so. Breathe in peace and calm and comfort for yourself. Gratitude for each other, and breathe out loving kindness and smile. If that's all I'll leave you with during my presidency, that hopefully it'll last you a lifetime until, well, whenever the last one. This month is Water and Sanitation Month. We have our president-elect back, Dave Martell, who had an amazing experience that he'll tell us about in a future meeting regarding LIFT, the program that the district supports from Nicaragua. Thanks. Who was going to help us with the foliage stuff?
Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor to do the four-way test. If you may stand, I think that's the protocol. The things we think study on doing first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build and friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. You did that last part with real passion and enthusiasm. I'll have to practice that for Toastmasters. The reflection for today is all of you. So co-create peace, co-create hope. And as you reflect on what each of you have done this past month, I'm forever grateful for the chance to lead this group, but also to learn from each one of you. You have quite diverse personalities, and I was able to map that as I was sharing with Sherston onto a level of consciousness spiral dynamic map. And I don't want to get academic, so we'll just leave it as an experience first, and the evidence comes later. Next. Our happy thoughts, Dave, will be Our goal is up to 1,000 by the time June comes around, and we're over halfway there.
So who has a happy thought today? Vicky.
We had a great 6 weeks away and I didn't get sick until I got back to Minnesota this year. Glad to be home. As I texted my family, let them know I got home safely. I got the message, oh, you're here just in time to shovel.
So you just gave me a thought, Vicky, and I just put in $2 because as of tonight, I will actually be in Las Vegas with my daughter and my wife. So I put in my happy buck for our adventure.
You might need it, Bob.
At the end of yesterday, I realized it was one of those rare days where I got to see all four of my children in the same day. Two were on FaceTime because we live overseas, but two are in town. It was just a happy thing.
That's a wonderful, happy thought. Others?
I'm going to do this for Happy Day, because last week, the week before, I had my name up on top, that I've been here 53 years, and there's 53 years of fun.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Was a $5.
I'm just delighted that my sister is coming to visit to celebrate Easter with me, and that's always a joyful event.
And I hope all of you have a chance to visit with them where you're coming week.
I'm delighted that this past Saturday, the Rochester Symphony hosted its fourth and final candidate for maestro, and I'm glad that I'm not on the search committee because they've got one heck of a choice to make. All four of them were outstanding, and I can't wait to find out who we.
I fully agree. We have outstanding candidates for that. We had a chance to evaluate all four. It's a tough decision.
I have a happy thought when I came in here to see the Rotary Danish dinner. I'd heard about this, and Vicky and Terry, I'm just thrilled that you're putting together something like this. What a great way to celebrate our Rotary Youth Exchange student Thea and all the people such as Sherston and others who have been her host families. It gives me real joy to see the level of support. So I'm getting into the airport up in the Twin Cities at about 3 o'clock that day, but I will buy 2 and hope I show up.
I'm assuming we're going to hear more about that later in the. Okay,
Yes.
good. Others? Asha? Oh,
Well, thank you. I don't have the Toastmasters improvisation session done yet, but as chairperson for Rochester Fest this year, the theme is Live Your Dream. The button design contest has been completed, and we'll hear the announcement soon. Mayor Norton will get the first button, and I hope you can all participate as you live your dream, and we help Rochester and Rochester citizens live their dream. In celebration for the 100th year coming up, we'll put a donation to that, and again, best wishes to this club. You've helped me live this dream, and I hope we can do the same carrying forward for Dave's year. Thank you.
anyone else? Well, thank all of you. I think we are approaching our goal.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone. Now, there's a level of happiness that becomes pathologic or requires some extra psychiatric consultation. So we will stop at this level of enthusiasm and stay connected to reality. Dave, while you're got that mouthful. If you want to announce the slate for next year, and we'll just take a formal vote.
So we're still working on this, but we did want to have a formal vote on those that we have designated so far. So for the 2024-25 year, myself as president, Ashok is past president, president-elect is Steve Sperling, club administrator Kirsten Keeler, treasurer Frank Allen, secretary Joseph, membership Audrey, communication Lori, engagement Don Meyer, international service Judy O'Fallon and Carolyn Bailey, and for measurement Stuart, who has really become quite an active member in your short time, and we appreciate all that you've done so far. So I would ask for a motion for approval for the slate of officers. Lee has moved approval,
Second.
and we have a second from Ally. Oh, we have a couple of seconds, but okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. It passes.
Thank you very much, Dave. And Ally, if you'd like to come up and honor Lori, Lori, if you want to come up too.
One honor I have as past president is to present Paul Harris Fellow Recognition Pins to our club members that have contributed to the Rotary Foundation or have gifted Paul Harris points from existing Paul Harris fellow members. Paul Harris Fellow is named after our Rotary founder, Paul Harris, who started Rotary in Chicago in 1905. Rotary established this recognition in 1957 to encourage and show appreciation for substantial contributions. From an initial fund of $26, the Rotary Foundation has grown to over $1 billion, which are generating dollars that go out into the world and do amazing things every day. The Paul Harris Fellow recognition acknowledges individuals who contributed or have had contributions made in their name to the Rotary Foundation in increments of $1,000. Our club is fortunate to have recognized 464 current and former TRCR members as Paul Harris Fellow members. Paul Harris Plus awards consist of a gold pin with stones corresponding to the recognition amount. Multiple Paul Harris Fellow recognition is given in subsequent $1,000 levels. So it gives me great pleasure today to award Paul Harris +5 pin to Lori Lubke. Please.
Thank you for wearing a shawl.
Congratulations. It gives us all great pleasure on behalf of our club and Rotary International to present this token of our appreciation for supporting Rotary programs throughout the world. Thank you, Lori.
Now, Celeste, if you would like to bring as sponsor, would you like to bring your Rotary inductee? So fellow Rotarians, it is my privilege to welcome a new member into our club. Celeste is the sponsor for Lin Jing Zhang. And you have been invited into Rotary because you are an outstanding person in the community and in your chosen walk of life. Thus, we welcome you into Rotary in the Rotary Club of Rochester and in the Fellowship of Rotary International throughout the world. The responsibilities of membership have already been explained to you, and your fellow Rotarians expect you to honor the principles for which Rotary stands. The motto of Rotary is service above self, and we commit it to the personal care of each Rotarian so that it may be respected and allowed to grow among those whom we come into contact. As a token of your commitment to this ideal, we will be presenting you with a Rotary lapel pin. And before we get to that, I'll just have Celeste share a few comments if that's okay, to the club.
Thank you, President Ashok. It's my honor to introduce Ling Jin today. I'm going to read the biography that she sent to me. My name is Ling Jin. You can call me Ling. Thank you for making it simple. I am originally from the northeastern part of China, and we're going to want to know the name of the city eventually because that'll be very interesting to us. And the weather in my hometown, she says, is very similar to that in Minnesota. That's a good thing. For you to be in shock. Lynn came to the States for graduate school at Auburn University in Alabama in 2012. After graduation, she worked in pharmacogenomics research at Mayo since 2017, and she has lived in Rochester for 7 years and currently works as a pharmacist. She enjoys traveling and gardening. Her husband and Ling have 3 cats, 2 boy cats and a girl kitten who bring them so much joy. Let's welcome Ling.
Thank you, Celeste. And now I'll give you the package, and if you'd like to open the package, there should be a pin in here.
Here.
So, do you want to just take a picture?
You want monitor?
Would you like to wear the pin? Takes a minute. There's also a nice rotary coin, which probably was developed back in 1906. But Lee, do you know much about the history of this? More than 53 years. So if we present you, Ling, with this rotary lapel pin, you can wear it. There's also a code of ethics and a new member folder. There's also this nice coin, and in military style, you do the handshake.
Oh.
I learned that from my brother-in-law, who's retired chief of staff of Wisconsin Army National Guard. So we extend to you a warm welcome, and with it, the friendship of us all. And then if you want to, at the end of the program, if you want to just go with Celeste to the back, we'll all meet you on the way out. How did I do, Ally?
So far, so good.
I don't like all this extra thing. Well, them's the rules. So just as a celebration and reminder of how our club has made a difference over the past 99 years, we have given over $1 million in donations to the community and for Rotary to use. And as Ally mentioned, we have recognized 464 Paul Ferris Fellows and several other forms of donation back to Rotary and in doing more good in the world. In club member recognition, we have 25,000 points to give, and with our board, we decided that we're going to recognize one member a month over the next 15 months, and that'll start in April, so that we will have this momentum toward our 100-year anniversary. And so we will be down to 10,000 points by the end of July 2025. Thanks. So birthdays, Lori, March 1st, Dave, March 1st, 6th, okay, Mark, March 6th, Steve, March 14th, Jen, March 22nd, Larry, March 24th, and Barry, who's now down in Florida, March 26th. All right. Okay, for this part, when we do come to the name, just go fellow Rotarian. Judy, you start. And then more, at least 54. And then for the anniversaries, we still have Suzanne's name to correct there. Lee, Steve, Mary, Mark, Mariana, Suzanne, Bill, Heather, and Elaine or Robert. Happy anniversary. Big round of applause there. Service projects, we'd like Audrey to come up and talk a little bit about what some exciting events that she's coming to help our city.
Okay. Hey, I have two announcements. One is see if I can get my mouth working today. After traveling to Tanzania last fall, I got to see a nonprofit working to bring clean water to families. It seemed like a perfect fit for a Rotary grant project, and we have a small team from the 3 local clubs working on this, and we'll be putting a grant together. If there's anyone interested in working on this project, get a hold of me, and we'll include you in the work that we're doing to get ready. So that's number one. And the second one is that Service Thursdays are back, starting in April. So we're partnering with Just Deeds and Mapping Prejudice to review Olmsted County deeds to identify discriminatory covenants. From the Just Deeds website, discriminatory covenants have been used to keep people of color from buying houses in certain Minnesota neighborhoods. And Rochester is no exception. The result is a century of segregated communities. Together, we can acknowledge this discrimination, discharge these covenants, and build a foundation for more inclusive communities. So we're going to be learning about this effort during our Rotary program on April 11th. And then the following week is our third Thursday. We'll be meeting back here at the Even Hotel. Training is provided, so if you can bring your laptop, that would be great. And we're going to be between noon and 1, and you can order off the menu if you want to eat here. But so the training will show you what we're going to do. We're going to be they use some form of, I assume, AI to identify covenants that are likely have some of these covenants in them, and then we verify. And the training is all online, and I'll show you how to do it because I've gone through that training. But I hope you think about joining. I hope you will join us on April 18th for Mapping Prejudice. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Those are 2 excellent activities that we will reinforce the international scope of our practice with the Tanzania Shark Tank event, and then the local mapping project, which aligns with our equity and belonging concepts. Next, White Oak Park, Wednesday, April 17th. And you can see a picture of the smiles that White Oak Park brings. without a lot of extra back pain or other areas. It takes about 45 minutes, and Joseph, are we starting at 5:30 or 6? 6 o'clock, and this is in Northwest Rochester. The Rochester Fest, save the date, that should read June 27th, but Thursday we're gonna have a service, all the service clubs will meet in the tent in Soldiers Field, and that will be a celebration. One of the projects that's proposed is a lithium battery recycling project, which Patricia McLeese and Rotary International is also providing. So stay tuned, more to come on that one. But that whole week's 22nd to 29th, if I'm in an altered state of consciousness, you'll know why. Community services, all sorts of other things we're doing. Go to the website and check in with Sherston as you're interested. A special shout out to Dr. Mariana Gonzalez, who on match day, which is March 15th, matched to internal medicine at Vanderbilt. And that'll be, she was really grateful. She's not here. I don't think she's online, but she was really grateful to Rotary to give her this opportunity. And we did, in her opinion, also make a difference in all the amazing opportunities she's done to research and partnership with Mexican and other colleagues in Rochester. And finally, Vicki, you're up for introducing our guest speaker for today. Thank you.
First, I want to take a quick minute on your table. We have a little flyer here. Tia, our youth exchange student, every year they have the opportunity to go on what's called the East Coast trip. They have to pay for it out of pocket. The cost about $2,800 plus their flight, so it is a pretty big expense. So she asked if we could help fundraise for us. We've done this over the years. So Terry and I can help cook the Danish dinner, and then we found out about Danish food. And even though Terry is Danish, we went, the food choices are not real exciting. The main thing was fried pork belly and boiled potatoes with parsley sauce. So we changed it up a little bit. We came up with a few other more exciting things. So we've got a sample menu there. We're actually doing a cooking class with Tia tonight. She's going to learn how to make carne asada. We're on the community ed cooking class. But this is the menu we're looking at doing. It'll be something similar. We think we can fit 25 people in. If the weather's nice, we might be able to get more. So we'll kind of be the first 25 people who tell me you want to go and get me your money, you're in. It's going to be Saturday, April 27th from 5 to 7 at our house. And what else do you need to know about? That's kind of the basics of it. If you're interested, just email me, call me, let me know. And $100 is a suggested donation. I think we said just make the checks out to me, and then I'll send them and put it into one account for Tia. Any questions on that? Great, thank you. All right, and next for Family Promise Rochester, this is something Campson had coordinated for this week. So we've been collecting items. A couple weeks ago, we collected a whole bunch, and there's more items today. If you brought anything else, add it to the pile over here if you want to get a picture at the end of the day. But all that will be going to Family Promise Rochester. Erin Sale is the executive director, and she's here to talk about the work we're doing. Prior to her role, she was a longtime volunteer and board member of Family Promise, and her years of experience with the nonprofit reflect her passion for the mission. She's very interested in promoting Family Promise in the community and has made great strides to ensure financial security for the organization. Please welcome Erin Sale.
Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here and speak with you today. I'm just curious, can I see some hands? Who has heard of Family Promise? Okay, awesome. Good. So our mission is to help families experiencing homelessness. If you want to go to the next slide. We were previously known as IHN, or Interfaith Hospitality Network. We used to operate on a church rotation model where families would stay a week at a time at different churches in our community. That started in 1999. Couple different things for why we had to change our name. Mainly, we are a national affiliate. There are 200 Family Promises in the country. When they changed their name, we also changed ours. They changed for a couple of reasons. A lot of people were assuming that we are a faith-based organization, which we are not. We do partner with churches and volunteers. So when we're applying for grants, a lot of people don't want to give you grants if you're associated with a religious organization. So we went through a name change, and I feel like that's been a very big obstacle for us. There's a number of nonprofits in town. There's Families First, Family Services. So I feel like we're often getting mixed up with other organizations. And go to the next one, please. So as I mentioned, we used to operate on that church rotation model, and then when COVID happened, we had to change how we did things. Churches were closed, everything was closed, so we purchased a property that you see here, which is in the Kutsky Park neighborhood, and we now operate what we would call a static site. So families don't do that rotation anymore. They stay on site. There's 3 bedrooms in the house, and then there's 2 offices. We have 3 staff, and we have a shared living room, kitchen, dining room space, toy room. So yeah, this is kind of the new space we moved we moved there in 2020, and then in 2021, we started operating. Thank you. So a little bit about our program and how it works. So to be in our program, you either need to be pregnant in the 3rd trimester of your pregnancy, or you need to have a child somehow in your care. The family unit can look however it looks. Sometimes it's a grandparent, it might be an aunt, it might be a whole family unit, mom, dad, multiple kids. We have a lot of different sizes of families. The first family that moved into the shelter was a family of 12, which took up all the bedrooms. And right now we have quite a few smaller families, which would be like single parent, and then like one child. We do background checks on our families. We used to do that as well when families were in that church rotation model. We have kind of changed a little bit of that. We do believe in second chances. For example, if we see something in someone's background, but maybe it's been 10 years since we've seen something, as long as it's not a violent crime, anything involving children, we do tend to be a little more lenient now that we're not in churches and that there's staff there on site. We are a drug and alcohol-free facility, no weapons. We have a number of rules that families have to follow to be in our program. And the main one is that we're looking for families who do want to make kind of that lifelong change. We ask families to go through intense case management. We don't require, but we recommend mental health professionals. Anyone that's gone through, homelessness or trauma, that's something that can really, really be helpful. A lot of times we're also recommending financial literacy, meeting with like a financial coach to be, like, where were you at in the past with money? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? So yeah, it's really intense, and it's not for everyone. Sometimes people hear about the program and they change their mind, which is fine, but we just really want to make a big impact in a short amount of time. We used to have families stay with us up to 3 months. And we're finding that affordable housing is hard to come by. And even though families are following rules, they're working through their goals of, finding childcare, finding a job, working towards affordable housing. We did extend it to about 4 to 5 months. If really all families need is a little more time to save money. We do require that families pay 75% of their income while they're with us. They don't pay anything while they're in shelter, and they receive meals as well. One of the things that we think really is really important is our life skill classes. So twice a month, families who are in shelter are required to attend life skill classes, and anyone who's graduated can come back for as long as they would like. And then we have different speakers. We have different experts from the community come in and talk about things such as financial literacy, accessing mental health. We had a 2-part series on stress management. We've been partnering with Zumbro Valley Mental Health. Families said that they don't feel educated on insurance, so we have State Farm Insurance coming in to talk next week. A number of families do have their own vehicles, so we're going to have someone from John Marshall, kind of the vehicle repair department, come in and teach how to change a tire, maybe how to check the oil in your car, how to jump the battery, stuff like that. We're just looking for skills that maybe families might not have learned that would be good for everyone to know. We do really feel like this is what keeps our families from entering back into homelessness once they graduated the program. And just a couple more pictures there. That row at the bottom was a really neat experience. People of Hope Church has a Hope Garden group, and so they had us out this summer, and they taught us about growing your own vegetables and composting. And so we had an outdoor meal, and families got to actually harvest and take some things home with them. So that was really neat. We're definitely looking for any possibility to partner with different, people in the community. We kind of feel like the more support and education families can get, the more chances they have of our success. We had the Boy Scouts come and teach about survival skills in nap time. And then we have different volunteers come to our life skill classes to do crafts, arts, and different activities and games with kiddos while the parents have their own education time. Just a little bit about our numbers. We've always had a wait list. Pre-COVID, I would say our wait list was about 12 to 15 families. The past year, our wait list has just continually grown. Right now we're at 45 families, so it's an all-time high from what we've ever seen. So the need is definitely growing. A little bit about our demographics. You can see that the majorities of the families that we serve are minorities. We also have a shelter diversion and prevention program, a grant through the United Way here in town. So if a family is at risk of losing their home, we have funds that we can help keep them there, whether it be a past utilities bill, if it would be maybe they're overdue on, on their rent. One thing that's really nice is we also partner with a couple organizations in this. For example, we can do up to $2,000 per family, one per lifetime. But there are a couple organizations that sometimes we partner together with, which could be Olmsted County, it could be Salvation Army or St. Vincent de Paul. So it's just really nice that some of us can give a little bit to each family to make them successful and keep them from entering the shelter. Current needs, you guys know about this, so I don't need to say too much. And we're very grateful for donations, but this is just kind of an ongoing list. And a lot of times churches or banks or, youth groups will do donation drives for us. And we're really grateful for any and all donations. So thank you for that. Volunteer opportunities. We have a couple different things. We have a meal delivery. Since COVID, things look a little different, being that we're in a smaller space. We are missing those large fellowship halls that we used to use of churches where volunteers would bring meals and stay and eat with families and kind of get to know each other. So we still have a meal delivery option, but right now we're not eating all together. And then we have on our website, there's sign up geniuses for other options. We're always looking for maybe committee members or board members. The maintenance of the facility that we're in now is a little more than we anticipated, being that it was an older house. So we're always looking for help with that. Event planning and event volunteering. Miracle on First is a neat program that we have at Christmas time. Our families fill out wait lists, and then groups can adopt a family at Christmas time and do shopping for them and help make their Christmas great. Funding the mission, we do not get any state, city, or federal funding. So we rely heavily on congregations, individual donors, in grants. That's something that we've been working really hard on the past couple of years is grants. And I was just talking with Vicki about that and grant writing and how it's a process. So yes, I've learned a lot. And again, I'm sorry, that's probably very small for you to see. I know I can't quite see it back there either. One thing that's very interesting is that last year, our pie was very much in thirds: congregational giving, individual giving, and grants were kind of about a third each. And then we worked really hard on grants and were very successful, and all of a sudden that took over a large piece of the pie. However, that doesn't mean that congregational giving and individual giving went down. That was also up from our numbers last year. We have a number of events. We have a choir concert and silent auction that we have every year. This past year, it was held at Christ United Methodist Church. This next November, it's going to be back at Bethel. So that's a neat event where different musical groups and church choirs come together to sing, and there's a silent auction. Family Promise Day is in June of 2023. Sorry, that picture is from 2023, where we had an outdoor event just to kind of bring awareness to the community and the neighborhood, and people could come. We had root beer floats and tours of the shelter. This is hard to read and it's very small. Just kind of listing out some of our partnerships in the community, businesses, and then a lot of our churches. Some things have changed with churches since COVID. You know, some people have numbers that they're seeing that are down. So some churches maybe are only able to give volunteer support right now. Maybe volunteers are down and they're only able to support us financially, but any way that we get support, we are grateful. Okay, so one of the things that we are really excited about is that Olmsted County has taken note that we are the only family shelter in Rochester that we are successful and that our numbers are growing for our wait list. So they came to us a little over a year ago and said, hey, we have a facility. What would you think? Do you want a new, bigger facility? And so at first it felt too good to be true. You know, like we were all very kind of like, well, yes, sure. And, you know, it's taken a while, a lot of paperwork. They have a board, I have a board. So it's been a slow process, but we're very excited. There's renovations currently happening and we're going to move into the new facility in June of this summer. So I mentioned that right now we can have 3 families at a time, and then this facility will be able to have 8 to 12 families at a time. So we are very excited to be able to help more members in the community that are in need. And then just some photos here. That photo on the left is when we did that church rotation model, where there are volunteers and families there all together. On the right, Stephen Saliba is our board president, and he received the Jefferson Award for volunteering. Thank you. On the left there's Sue Madden State Farm did a donation drive for us a little over a year ago. In the middle is some board members and staff. We went to Pizza Ranch in Stewartville and a few bus tables. They have community nights where then you get a percentage of the proceeds. So that was fun. The picture on the right there is out behind the building where we have our life skill classes. And I say to the kids that if we are good listeners and we clean up, then we can go outside afterwards for a little bit to blow off some steam. And there's pictures from the choir concert and silent auction again. On the right, there is the one we had it at Bethel in the previous year. Thank you. There's been a lot of awareness recently in the community around the topic of homelessness, which we all really appreciate. And I think it's been really exciting that the community is coming together with different groups and leaders and political leaders to just kind of talk about what the need is and that it is real. You know, a lot of times family homelessness isn't something that you see. A lot of times our families would maybe be in vehicles or doubled up, meaning like living with family or friends when they can't have their own space. Individuals experiencing homelessness, it's something that you do see more, if we're talking about the Landing or the Warming Center, or people that you would see downtown. But the picture on the left there is at Christ United Methodist Church. They held a community forum on the topic of homelessness, and we've been trying to attend those and participate in any way that we can. The picture on the right is Moms Demanding Action Group. They came last spring and did some planting for us at the shelter, just plants and making the place more beautiful. So we appreciate that. The picture in the middle there is our smallest bedroom. It's not very often that I get to sneak in and take a picture between families because we're usually quick to get people in and out, but that's just kind of an example. We try and provide families with everything that they need. As I mentioned, that's our smallest bedroom, so that would be for like a single parent and 1 kiddo. So they get bedding, they get pillows, towels, toiletries, all those kinds of things. So that's a picture of that. On the left there, we had a booth at Rochester Fest last year, so it's exciting to hear that you guys are participating in that, and we'll look for you there. And we also had a booth at Rochester Pride. And then just a couple more pictures on the right of donation drives from different groups and churches. That is Caitlin, our case manager. She's the one that works directly with families with whatever it is that they are struggling with. Sometimes if families, if English isn't their first language, that's a whole other set of things that we need to help with, whether it be documentation. We partner with IMAA to have interpreters. Right now we have a family that only speaks Spanish, which is exciting for me because I took Spanish in college and high school, so I've gotten to practice a little bit more, but we definitely take that into consideration and bring in interpreters so that families can feel comfortable and heard and we can communicate in all ways that we can. 125 Live had a volunteer fair, and Caitlin and I went to that last year. There on the right is another picture from our life skill classes. We did snow globe making at Christmas time, which we kind of learned our lesson that it was a little messy and anything with slime or things like that, it was a little much, but that's okay. Everybody had fun. The group on the left there was from KTTC. Sometimes when we are in between families transitioning, we might need a fresh coat of paint or some people to help us kind of get the room spruced up. So they came and they did that. So, yeah. And I'd love to see if there are any questions, anything that maybe I didn't touch on that anyone might be curious about.
So in terms of cleaning, like the families that they have to maintain their space, and then what happens when they change over that?
Yeah, so we have a weekly chore chart. So shared living spaces, families are kind of divvied up between them, and then they're in charge of keeping their own room clean. And we also do weekly room checks. We also partner with ABC, and they come in to clean, and like just with so many people and so many germs, you know, a lot of times they're just kind of sanitizing surfaces and stuff for us. But that is, sometimes we have families who are very good about following the cleaning schedule, and other times we kind of have to get after them about, you know, picking up and keeping things clean. Yeah.
A common question, I haven't purchased diapers for about 35 years because my son now is 38. But I went to Target a couple of weeks ago and we said buy newborn diapers. Do you know why these are diapers there? And
Be more specific.
and in the box is a picture of a newborn. And then it gives a weight, you know, like kilos or pounds and if I'm not the definition of our newborn baby, is it 7,000, 9,000, something like that? That's most of what I like. And then I really like the people out of the webs that it's something about organic, and there was some webs that were cucumbers, something. So it was I had a fun time looking for diapers and rice. Now a real question. So why are some groups opposed to, I work for a faith-based financial service company. Why are some people opposed to, you made a comment about their book? It's not like being opposed to you being a faith-based institution. Why is that?
Yeah, gotcha. And you know, I don't know if I know the exact answer, but I know a lot of times when I'm filling out a grant application that asks if you're a fiscal organization or you're associated with any religious organization, I feel like state and federal, you might be able to help me with this. You might know more than I do about, there are just some that don't support and won't support anything that is tied to a religious organization.
But you have a lot of religious organizations funding you.
We do. We have a lot of churches that support us. Yeah, so we have a lot of churches that support us financially, but we are not associated with any specific religious organization. And we also take in anyone and everyone. If someone is associated, if a family is religious or not religious, or all different types of religion, if that answers it. Yeah.
Other questions?
It's one that you will walk back.
Get my steps.
Yeah, thank you very much, Erin, for an excellent presentation. What happens to the families after that 120 or 160 day?
So
what happens when they graduate?
Yeah, so ideally, and it's always our goal that they're able to find their own housing. It can happen a couple different ways. Sometimes people qualify for like a Section 8 voucher, and a lot of times it's just waiting for your name to be drawn or for a spot to open up. Almost all times, families, when they come to us, already have a job. The hard part, I feel, is that sometimes a family member might not have a college degree or maybe even a high school diploma. So sometimes families might have to have 2 jobs to be able to earn enough income and to be able to afford an apartment. Occasionally, families, we feel like we are not able to successfully house them. We had a single mom and 6 kiddos, and she was with us for 5 months, and we were not able to find a place that she could afford. She ended up going to Mankato. She was able to find a place there, but we definitely viewed it as us not being able to be successful because she had kids in the Rochester Public School District. Her sister lived here. She wanted to live here. I would say we're usually between about 75% and 80% success rate for families getting in, successfully getting into housing. Sometimes we do have to exit families from the program if they're not following rules or not being safe. So that happens sometimes too. Yeah.
Other questions?
So are you, with the new facility, are you gonna like sell the other house or are you gonna run both?
We're still deciding. I know that we ideally would love to keep both. I think some of it's gonna depend on finances. Like we have a mortgage still on the current space on the house that we have. I've applied for a whole bunch of grants and, as funding comes in, if we're able to keep both locations. I'm kind of feeling like, in 6 months, we'll kind of reassess once we're there in June. We're not necessarily in a huge hurry to sell it, but if finances allow us to keep it, we will. Otherwise, we would sell it and just use the proceeds for the new, increased operational costs.
Other questions?
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Ally, I did it to myself. So Aaron, thank you for the really robust and humane presentation on what's needed to keep a family together and what builds community. So in your honor for this presentation, we will be making a donation to Alzheimer's Association. And thank you. Take this moment to thank all the people who helped make this program possible. Terry as a greeter, John Woodruff, cashier, and Sergeant at Arms. Celeste for the 4-way test, and also for being sponsored to Link, who they're in the back now. Introduction of guests, Lee, Sherston for AD support, and also Joseph for making this work. And Vicki for introducing our speakers and helping us with the program. Another shout out to Audrey for making it back and shoveling her sidewalk so she can make it here. We are adjourned. Create hope. Let's go and create hope in the world. Boxes. Oh, yeah, boxes for lunch and and leftovers if there's lots there, and there's sign up for Rotary swag. Lane, you can sign up for a t-shirt or a cap or as your first souvenir. We are adjourned. Thank you.